We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph in Meseches Nazir. This is Nazir Daf 39a. On the previous Amud, Abaye said, let's say a person who's a Nazir eats like a chartzen or a zug, so not only will you be chayiv for the prohibition of eating the chartzen, but you'll also be chayiv because of the pasuk of Mikol Asher Yasim Yigefen Hayayin, anything that comes from the vine, that is an additional prohibition and an additional set of malchus. And so on the previous Amud, Rav Papa asked Abaye from a brisa, because the brisa talked about a Nazir who ate a bunch of different parts of the grape, and it said you're chayiv on every single one. It was talking about 5 parts of grape, or things that emerge from the vine, and it said you're chayiv 5. And so Rav Papa said, according to Abaye, it really should be 6, because there should be an additional prohibition of anything, a general prohibition of anything that comes from the vine. The Gemara ended up saying that the brisa is leaving out some cases anyhow. There are other chiyuvim that should have been listed. And so Rav Papa said, really, in that brisa, it never listed a number. It simply said you're chayiv for every single item. And so the Gemara now asks, Gemara said in the previous Amud, Vaha osve chamesh. But didn't he ask him from the fact that the brisa said chamesh? In other words, what the Gemara is asking is that Rav Papa used this brisa as a question on Abaye and specifically said that the brisa says 5 prohibitions and not 6. So clearly the brisa does say the number 5. And so that's what the Gemara says. If the number 5 is not even in the brisa, my time osve. What's the reason Rav Papa ever even brought up the brisa and asked the question on Abaye in the first place? And the Gemara says, Amar Rav Papa says, Ano Savri, I thought, Lav Gemara hi biyadi, that what Abaye was saying was not a tradition, it was just something that he thought of on his own. V'hadr Bey, and I thought that if I would bring him a brisa, even though I wasn't really quoting the brisa accurately, I thought that he would retract. It was a way of getting him to retract his opinion. V'lo yadana de Gemara hi biyadi, I did not realize that Abaye had a tradition about this halacha. V'lo hadr Bey, and he wouldn't retract. And so essentially Rav Papa is saying the brisa really would not have been a question on Abaye. And the Gemara continues at the 2 dots, Rav Elazar ben Azariah Omer v'chulu. So there was a machlokes tanoim in the Mishnah when we say chartzanim and zog. What does chartzanim refer to, and what does zog refer to? And the Gemara says, Omer Rav Yosef says, Keman mitargaminon mi portzanin v'ad itzurin. According to whom? According to which Tan in the Mishnah does the Targum translate the word chartzanim ad zog to portzanin ad itzurin? And the Gemara says, Rav Yossi, that translation follows the opinion of Rav Yossi. And Rashi explains portzanin demashma pnimi. The word portzanin sounds like the inside, meaning the seed. That's like Rabbi Yossi, that chartzanim is the seed. Kegon afilo partzida detusi. And itzurin mashma chitzonim. Itzurin is mashma, the outside, the skin of the grape. Again, that follows Rabbi Yossi, that zog refers to the skin of the grape. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Stam Nazirus Lamed Yom. Stam Nazirus is a term of 30 days. Gilach Osha Gilchuhu, list him if he shaves, or if bandits shave him, Soser Lamed Yom, it undoes 30 days. Rashi says, Gilach Osha Gilchuhu, listin, Mashma Bein Ba'onas Bein Baratzin, whether he shaves against his will, whether he shaves willingly, Besochim and Nazirus, if he does that during the term of his Nazirus, Bein Ben Nazirus Meruba, Bein Ben Nazirus Muetas, whether it's a long-term Nazirus, whether it's a short-term Nazirus, Soser Lamed Yom, it undoes 30 days, Lefisha Ein Gidol Seir Bepachos Mi Lamed Yom, because it's not considered growth of the hair if it's less than 30 days. In other words, when a Nazir shaves at the end of his term, he has to be shaving at least hair that grew for 30 days. That's why it undoes 30 days, meaning he's going to have at least 30 days of hair growth in a situation where he shaved. And the Mishnah continues, Nazir shagilach bein bezug bein betar o shasifsif kolshu chayiv. If a Nazir shaves, whether with a scissors, whether with a razor, or if he pulls out any amount of hair, he is chayiv. Rashi says, O shasifsif kolshu shatolash ktsas, but Rosh Hashanah, he just pulls out a little bit at the top of the hair, that is going to be considered chayiv. And the Gemara continues, Iboilhu, they ask the following question, Hai mazia militachas ravi o mila'el. When we have hair that grows, does it grow from the bottom, or does it grow from the top? The Gemara says, Lamai nafkamina, what difference does it make? L'nazir shagilchuhu listim, let's say you have a Nazir and bandits shaved him, v'shai rubo kadei lochaf rosha leikaro, but they left enough hair that you could bend the top of the hair, the tip of the hair, to the base, to the root of the hair. In such a situation, iyamin milasachas rabbi, if you say that hair grows from the bottom, from the root, so nazirus hashakli, so if they cut his hair, the top layer, so to speak, of his hair, they cut off all the hair that had the kedusha of the nazirus, and the hair at the bottom that they left, that was new hair, and therefore that's not really going to count as shaving the hair of the nazirus at the end of the term. Eliyamin mila'el rabbi, but if you say that it grows from the top, so my da'akdish hakoim, that which he sanctified when he became a Nazir, it's still there, it's still in existence, and therefore he won't need to wait longer in order to let the hair grow out. And Rashi explains, Lamai nafkamina, what difference does it make? L'nazir shegilchu listin. Let's say you have a nazir, the bandits shaved him. V'shayru bo kadei lachav roshul likara, but they left a little hair. It's enough hair to bend the tip of the hair to the base, to the root. Iyamrit dehai binsa milasachas rabbi. If you say that the hair grows by the root, by the bottom, hilkach lamai da'ak shakli. Therefore, the part that was sanctified, the part that had the kedusha, they shaved off. V'soser nazirus, so that undoes his nazirus. But if you say that it grows from the top, since they left him with hair, he has enough hair to bend the tip to the base, then you could say that which he sanctified when he declared his nazirus, that's still there. Then he's still able to do the shaving of the mitzvah, because he's shaving off the hair that has the kedusha, and it wouldn't be soser, he wouldn't have to add any days to grow more hair. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, come in here a proof, because we find by lice, the lice actually stay at the base of the hair. Now, if you think that hair grows from the bottom, so the louse should actually travel up as the hair grows, and eventually it should be at the tip, it should be at the top of the hair. And the Gemara says that's not a proof. It could be that really the hair grows from the bottom. But since it's alive and it wants to remain at the base, it actually consistently crawls down towards the root of the hair. That's why we always find it at the root. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, come in here, another proof. In Vamesa, if you have a dead louse, Beresha Devinsa, it's actually at the top of the hair. And so the Gemara says, if you think that it grows from the top, so the louse should really stay by the root. There's nothing happening at the root. It's all growing from the top. Why is it at the top? It seems that it's really growing from the root. And the Gemara says, Hasam Nami there also, Mishum Deles Bechela, because of the fact that a dead louse has no strength, so Shuruge Shrigavazel, so it actually slips, it slides towards the top of the hair, even if the hair is really growing at the top. It's not moving because of the growth of the hair, it's simply moving because it has no strength. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, coming here, another proof, Mibeluris de Kushiyim, de Basar de Megadlin Le Rafim Ilasachas. When it comes to the long hair of the Kushiyim, when they braid it, so it actually becomes undone towards the bottom. So that indicates also that the hair is growing from the root. And the Gemara says, Hasamnami, there also, I do the kamtahi mishichva derafia. Since it's very tight, they braid it tightly, so when they lie down, it loosens at the bottom. It may not have to do with the fact that the hair grows from the bottom. And the Gemara continues, Tashma, coming here a proof, miskarta, from when they dye the wool that's on a sheep, let's say by Meister Behema, they would put dye on the 10th animal. The Rafi Imra Milasachas, the wool becomes loose near the bottom, indicating that it grows again from the root. Utanan, and this is not only something we observe, it's something we see in the Mishnah. It talks about dyeing the wool by the Meister Behema. Vesu, and further, Katsivi Savia Diknahon Chivron, when the elders, when they dye the white hair of their beard, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Tes Amid Beis.